everyone, welcome to my family's journey of moving to the countryside, moving to Tennessee. We have decided as a family, my husband and I, but also his family, that we are moving to Tennessee. We recently purchased property up there, about 57 acres for the property, and we're in the process now. It is 2021 and in January, and we're in the process of starting this journey of moving up there. We currently live in Florida, Central Florida area. A little background about myself and my family. I have lived in Central Florida for my entire life, and I am so ready and have been ready for many years to get out of Florida. My husband is from Miami, and his family is from Miami. They moved up here. Let's see, it's got to be 1997, maybe 97. Moved up here, and then we've been here pretty much ever since. And we have two beautiful children, Jaden, who's 15, and then Ellie is 8. So right now the plan is to move when they get out of school. So I am starting to purge my house. I hope to take you along on our journey of ours. My in-laws and my brother-in-law are also moving there. Well, it's my in-laws, it was their initial plan, and then we kind of all piggybacked on top of them. So they are in the process now of moving up there, and they are wanting to homestead. They've done a lot of research on homesteading. We have done some research on homesteading. My husband and I both work in the medical field, so we will be getting jobs, full-time jobs up there in the medical field. But we are going to start homesteading as well, little things. So I'll show you my shirt. I don't know if you can see my shirt. It says "Support Backyard Chickens." This is my first farming shirt. No, I'm kidding. But my first way to show kind of what I'm going to do, like put it kind of in a tangible sense. So we are going to, and we plan right now, to have a double wide. We currently live in a 2,000 square foot home, and we are going to be living in pretty much the same size double wide up there, but of course it is cheaper. One of our main goals while we're up there, while we move there, is to really decrease our bills. We're going to have a decrease in income. Medical field up there versus down here. We get paid more in Florida than in Tennessee, but things are cheaper up there in Tennessee as well. So, but our goal is to get into a home that not necessarily is huge and grand like in a house that we live now, but to really spend time as a family. And part of that is decreasing the bills and decreasing our expenses so that we won't have to work so much in order to keep up with that. Another big change is our kids will be going to public school. Right now they go to private school, and we pay roughly $1,700 a month for private school. I went to private school my whole life. My husband went to private school his whole life. It was a big deal for us, for our kids to go to private school. Our son is actually going to the same high school that we went to in high school. So that's kind of nice to see that full circle. But it is very expensive, but it is very important to us, which is why we currently have them in private school. But up there, we feel like the culture is very different, and so therefore we're hoping to get a better experience with public school, or just an experience up there with public school that we are comfortable with. So that is a big change for our children. They've always worn uniforms to school. They're excited to not have to wear uniforms to school. So we'll see how long that lasts. I'm excited for them, and something that I also toyed with, I guess, is that public school, especially in high school, there is a lot of options for kids there to explore, to see what they want to do. Private school doesn't really have that. They have a lot of things, but not, they tend to be very almost pigeonholed, if you want to say. So not as many options out there to kind of try as public school does. So I'm excited for Jaden to get into a public high school, hopefully find something that he really wants to do or really enjoys. I'm excited for Ellie to get into there too and be able to try some new things. My secret is that I would love for Ellie to get into like Future Farmers of America and like raise her own animals and stuff. I know nothing about that. Again, I am a private school kid through and through, but I know it's out there. So I think it would be a great learning experience for them. Some of our goals right now as it stands, of course, I told you we're going to get a double wide, which has taken a lot of time for us to kind of get over and process in our heads because of the way we've been brought up, right? And the way that we live. We live in a city, essentially. It is so populated here that if you almost, not because of the population, but where we live, it's all houses, right? If you don't have enough money, then you live in an apartment. If you really don't have enough money, then you live in a trailer. So it's interesting how down here, almost living in a double wide seems to have a certain stigma about it. When I tell my friends and stuff, yeah, we're gonna get a double wide, the shock on their faces is kind of interesting. And I have to tell them, no, wait a second. This double wide that I'm getting is probably nicer than my current house. It's a little bit different, obviously, structurally and things like that. But decoratively, it is got some things about it that I absolutely love. One of the things I told my husband, Kenny, is, you know, I do want to decrease their bills. I'm also trying to get out of that city mentality of, you know, expensive cars, expensive houses done up perfectly. You know, you have the newest electronics, you have big screen TVs, you have new cell phones and all that, the Apple accessories, really trying to almost reprogram that in our heads. And it's been a challenge because it's so easy to fall into the trap of I need more, right? You're keeping up with the Joneses type concept. That is the mentality we live in cities. Work more, get a bigger house, get a more expensive house, get a nicer car, get a bigger truck, get, you know, whatever, get a pool in the backyard, get more, right? That is where like the society that we live in, at least where I live right now, right? That's kind of what we feel. But with that comes things, and it's work more and try to make more money and all this stuff like that. And that comes with a price. And so we are done with that way of living. We understand that for us, our family is important. For us, our religion is important. And for us to be able to really spend time with our family, really, and for our kids to hopefully have a better life, we need to do this. We need to get somewhere where the culture is different. And it's interesting because I see how, so my childhood specifically, I grew up in a single parent household. I had my mom and my dad around, but I mostly lived with not mostly. I did live with my mom, visited my dad on the weekends. My mom worked full time, so I took a lot of care of myself after school and things like that, or I went over to watched by friends. I never wanted for anything. My mom always got us kind of whatever we wanted, right? But compared to way Kenny was raised, I was raised in a very, if you want to say meager, I don't know if meager is the right way, but I was raised in a very conservative lifestyle, if you want to say. I remember things like when we first met, I would be happy if he just brought me like one of those little flowers you picked from the ground, which are really weeds, which I really like, the little purple ones. I don't know what they're called. They're down here in Florida. I don't know if they're everywhere, but they're super cute. That's what I would be happy with if he got me that. Whereas he was different. He was brought up different. He was brought up with a lot of money. Or I say a lot of money because that's how I view it, right? Had all the latest video games and systems back then, and you know, went fishing on a boat, and you know, his family had money too. You know, mine didn't. So I lived in big houses, and that was his life. So it's been very different. But anyways, I digress. I'm getting sidetracked. My whole point is to say that, you know, we always want to give our kids what we didn't have in our childhood. And I always wanted to give Jaden everything that I could. Both kids. Everything that I could, right? You want the latest video game? I'm going to figure out how to get it for you. You want a new cell phone? I'm going to figure out how to get it for you. You want, you know, to go to the Magic game? I'm going to figure out how to get you to one. By doing so, I can see how it has made Jaden a certain way that I don't care to see. It has taught him not necessarily to value what he has in life. That being said, I myself, and Kenny, we have done a lot of work with trying to teach him responsibility, but it is going back against what we've already taught him and said to him. So we're going against the grain in that. So a lot of factors went into this. I'm getting super deep into this now, but I'm excited about the move. I am excited with the kids to move. Also, on a side note here, we did ask our children if we told them that we were going to move to Tennessee. We did tell them. Jaden, being that it's his freshman year in high school, if he wanted to complete all 4 years at his high school, we were going to allow that. Eliana is very friendly. She's in 3rd grade. So it's not a huge deal for her, you know, to move. She was going to wind up moving anyways at some point. So there was really no good point for her. But we did ask them. And, oh, my nose itches. We did ask them, specifically Jaden, you know, hey, we're going to move to Tennessee. We have 2 options of when we can move. We can move after you finish and graduate high school, or we can move during the summer. And he said, I'm ready to go. I want to go to Tennessee. Shockingly to me, because I thought it was going to be 4 years before we actually moved. So he was on board. We talked to Ellie. Of course, Ellie was on board too. And that began our journey. And we have started looking at houses. We've pinned down a house. We're pinning down financing. Hopefully we'll have a house up there. If not, there is a current existing double wide and a stick home, which is a normal home. We're learning a little bit of terminology now. That is very tiny up there on the property already. That right now my in-laws and us, when we go up there, we do some work on the property, cleaned it all up, doing a little bit of renovation and fixing on there. So we may have to wind up staying in one of those for, you know, hopefully 2-3 months before our house is delivered and basically installed. So we will see. I hope to bring you along on this journey and keep you kind of where we are on each step of the way. So right now it is just a matter of getting jobs up there, getting our financing to go through on our home so that we can get that built. And then that's it. So I will keep you guys updated. I am excited to bring you along your journey. I realize there are a lot of people that are contemplating this. So I hope by sharing our journey to move to the country will inspire others and will also help you combat those fears of moving or uncertainty of moving and help you make the right decision, whether it is for you to move to the country or not. Or if you want to stay, where you're at in a city or wherever. So thank you for listening to my story, for my journey, my family's journey. I'm excited for it. And I hope to see you next time.